Hello, my name is Jess Marie. Welcome back to my channel. I am relatively new to the MMA, kickboxing, boxing scene. I say those two because those are the two nights that I have available to commit to class, and they happen to be back to back. So today I am definitely really sore. So we do Sunday morning kickboxing, which is very high energy, very high intense. Ain't no fucking around there. You just go in, sweat, everybody's dripping, and it is so good. And I learned through that class I need to channel my energy because I am a full energy being. How to channel that energy and apply it to what I am performing and not just full excitement, right? I am very excited to be here and I'm blessed to be here. And then our boxing class, which is Monday nights, boxing is more fundamentals. We're learning combos, we're applying those, and footwork. So 2 back-to-back classes. What I need to do now is practice what I've learned throughout the week. And what's hard about practice sometimes is it gets boring, it gets repetitive, and that's where you need to grind. In my personal opinion, that's part of the grind. Is this seems boring, but if I don't practice it and I don't know the fundamentals, I cannot progress. And we think of 10,000 hours of practice. Okay, so where I want to be in 18 months, how am I going to get even 5,000 hours in? So let's say I commit to half an hour in the morning, half an hour at night, every day for 365 days a year. So that's an hour. So we're looking at, in a year, only 365 hours, right? Okay, if I can double that, we're still only looking at, do quick math, 60, 60, 120, 3, we're still under 1,000 hours, right? Okay, so how do I get to where I need to go without overtraining? Overtraining is huge because if you overtrain, you're gonna miss a day because your body is so sore. And there are many ways to, in this sport, there are many ways to overcome that and override that and include things and try to acknowledge things as practice that aren't physically demanding in practice. So reading articles and understanding different techniques, different elements of the sport, looking at not only people who are successful in the sport, and you can apply this to anything. If you're applying it to music, don't just look at the top guitar players because yes, it's important, yes, it's inspiring, but you got to look at the people who are bottom of the barrel, dirty bars or gyms, whatever it may be. They're at a place where they're training in a place where it's like, oh, it's kind of grimy. That's where you're going to be, and that's where you're going to start out. If you're at the top of the line, like if we think of Rocky IV, there's Rocky Balboa and the Russian man, and the Russian man has all the best technology and all the best trainers, and Rocky's got just his outdoor cabin, and he's carrying a log up the snow hill, and he wins the fight. And it's saying that the top of the line, everything isn't the most important, and trying to understand that fundamentals and that determination strength is going to overcome everything. And I'm trying really hard to not just overtrain myself physically, because obviously after 2 days of, and this is going to happen when you start something new. If you're starting guitar for the first time, your calluses on your fingertips are going to be so sore. If you're starting painting, it's going to be a slow process because paint takes time to dry, and you're not going to always have a creative muse. It's like, what do I paint? Starting off painting, it's like, what do I paint? Okay, I can paint this picture I took that looks beautiful. And then you're like, oh my gosh, how do I get the colors? And it's a slow process of color mixing and matching. There are so many different avenues that we can take this 10,000 hour of practice. And not that I really expanded much on that, but that's kind of what I'm getting down to, is fundamentals. Spending that time on the fundamentals and not necessarily overworking the system of physical exhaustion, but also allowing the mental and spiritual side expand as well, because that is also huge. If we're talking about mental side of looking at what I say, these grimy places, and I say that as kind of a funny thing of look at fights of people who are not well known. Look at their techniques. Pick one of them. You don't have to know either people. If for me, talking about MMA, I'm looking at two people, I don't know who they are, and I'm gonna pick one and look at what he's doing. If you're on YouTube, put that down to 0.5 speed, half the speed, and watch what they're doing. Watch their fundamentals, and it's like, okay, what am I working on right now? Footwork. Okay, we're working on footwork. What are they doing? If you're a bodybuilder, you can apply the same thing. Look at somebody who placed top 5 in the competition the year before that you are going to enter in. Look at somebody who placed top 5. Look at the people in the 5, 4, 3 slots. Where were they lacking? What were they missing that didn't get them on the top 2, gold, silver? What were they missing? Analyze that. Analyze where their training is. If you have that ability to look at their training, because we are a social media dominant society, that you can look at a lot of people's training. It's like, okay, what are they doing? Do they talk about their diets? Do they talk about hot, cold, sauna versus plunging? Do they talk about stuff like that? Do they talk about their mental state? Do they physically, in their mind, isolate that muscle as they're pulling up a dumbbell curl? Do they, in their mind, imagine that muscle getting stronger? I'm sure they probably don't talk about that. I'm going to talk about it here. But that's something that mental aspect, that it doesn't have to be all physical input. You can apply the same to music. What are you doing fundamentally to get your game elevated when your fingers are too sore because you don't have the callus strength to get further? Are you practicing something like visualization? Visualization is huge. What I just said about the bicep curl. If you're visualizing your practice, so last night before I went to bed, I visualized myself this morning doing footwork. What am I doing? How does it look? Is it going to be beautiful? No. But that visualization adds on to that 10,000 hours of practice. And if you've never heard, there's a book or something like that, maybe just like a blog, or it's something that I did in college, where 10,000 hours of practice to be a master at whatever craft it is. So if we're thinking about that, we cannot physically, let's say for me, because I have an 18-month goal timeline, I can't physically fit in even half that amount of time, right? If we're looking at 5,000 hours, I physically cannot put in that amount of time. What can I do otherwise that can help me be a master? I can watch. I can see what other people are doing. I can listen, hear what other people have done and where they've failed and where they wish they could go back in time and do things differently. I can sit and meditate and visualize. I can record myself during my practice, go back and take notes, writing down that visualizing and physically writing down, or hearing and physically writing down, reading a book. There are so many things you can do to add on to that 10,000 hours of practice. And that's kind of a minor point here that I brought up in the beginning, and now I'm just carrying out, because I do think practice is obviously so important. And once you find your craft, once you find what you're looking for and what you want, it becomes easier. And there's going to be days that are tough. If you're starting something such as myself, and it actually doesn't matter. I don't know, actually, like I brought up painting. Painting is one of those things where, yeah, sure, you have micro muscles in your hand that are working, but you're gonna work on steady brush strokes and color matching. Color theory is huge to learn. There's different curves, but if you're looking at something that is more physically demanding, be prepared. You are going to be sore. You are going to be sore and you need to fight through that. I'm not saying push yourself to the point of exhaustion where you do not want to train anymore, but you are going to be sore, and understand you're going to have to live with that. You are going to have to make sacrifices. Anything great requires sacrifice. And if you don't have the time, make the time. Because we all have the same 24 hours in a day. Not saying neglect sleep, but learn to adapt and overcome, I guess. That's what we're trying over here. Adapt and overcome. Thank you, coffee. One day I am not gonna drink coffee. Drink my tea at night. Help me relax. Green tea mama. And I've been putting this cayenne salve that I've made, and Rob helped put it on my back last night, and I swear it works. Like, So, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. My name is Jess Marie, and not to tell you what it... I just botched it on the outro. Not to tell you what to do, but I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. Bye!